This is what I'm feeling like. Da, 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 da. Let me tell you what I'm feeling like. Da, 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 da.
Yo, what up, though, people? Like to welcome you back to the Keep It a C Note podcast. As always, I am your boy Brown. Shout out to everybody that's tuned in. If this your first time tuning in, salute to you. Please do me a favor. Make sure you hit the sub button, like button, and the bell so you can stay notified when we drop new content. Don't be afraid to leave a comment. If you agree with something, you disagree with something, you want to correct me on something, or if you just want to call me a Uber, let me know in the comments. Just make sure you keep it a C note. And make sure you share this video with someone that likes to talk sports and entertainment just like you so that we can all talk that talk together. Funniest thing that I've seen so far this week, LeBron James versus the Miami Heat. LeBron James was asked, do he think he would still be as dominant if he never went to the Miami Heat? He replied yes. But then he took it to Twitter to double down on his reply. And he said, yeah, damn right, I would still be. I'm chosen. Ain't nothing changing that. Maybe less rings, but dominant from start to finish. And that's a little funny because the first thing I'm trying to find out is, what does he mean by I'm chosen? What do you mean by that, Brian? You're chosen by who? Who chose you? Because to me, that sounds like somebody just put you where you needed to be when you say you're chosen. I mean, can you elaborate a little bit on that? What exactly does that mean, you're chosen? I do see something that I've seen everybody skip over. Maybe less rings. He's keeping it a C note with you. Maybe I'll get my numbers. I probably won't have the same amount of rings, but I would still get my numbers. That's what I'm seeing out of that. Am I wrong? I mean, keep it a C note. Let me know. I would say it's no maybe about that. LeBron never goes to Miami. LeBron doesn't have as many rings as he has right now. I've been on record for saying for many years that I don't think LeBron would have no rings. But I'm not even going to go that route. He might have one or two in Cleveland. You got to realize by him going to Miami, that allowed Cleveland to stink in order to get the number one pick, to get Kyrie Irving. But not just Kyrie Irving. When you look at them years that they were doing bad, Tristan Thompson, another guy who was major on them Cleveland teams when LeBron came back, he was drafted while LeBron was going. You probably don't get none of them guys. You definitely don't get Kyrie with LeBron there. So I would definitely say less championships. I don't know, what do you mean by dominant? Dominant, if you mean I'm going to average 30, 29 points a game every year, yes, I can go with that. But if we're going off definition, without Miami, would LeBron right now be the most important player in the league, even though I don't think he is right now? No. Would he be the most powerful player? I don't think so, because after Miami and the chips is when he started trading pieces away and all of that. So I think that's where his power came into play at. More influential. I don't know, because even with the jumping teams and all that, I don't feel as though LeBron is as influential as people think. Maybe business-wise, maybe. But nobody in today's game is more influential than Steph Curry. Would that have changed if LeBron went to Miami? No. Steph Curry has changed the game. He's the most influential NBA player in the last 10 years. So I don't know what you're talking about dominating, because dominating is what Jordan did in the 90s. Won 6 titles, was winning every scoring title. He really could have won every MVP. That's dominating. You get into the championship and losing multiple years, that's not dominating. And as great as LeBron's career has been, and I get it, he's number one on points and all that, Dirk Nowitzki only has 1 ring. Came courtesy of LeBron James and the Miami Heat. Tim Duncan got 5. He got 2 of them against LeBron. A young LeBron and a LeBron in Miami. Steph Curry has 4 rings. 3 of them rings come against LeBron James. That never happened to Mike. So when we're talking about dominance, we can all only be talking about being ball dominant, pause, right? I mean, I'm just keeping it a C note, but I know we got LeBron fans. They just love him to death. So you could go ahead in the comments, grind me up. But there's no way. If this man is telling you maybe he would have less rings, then there's no way you guys should sit there and try to argue with me that he would have got somebody in Cleveland. We already know that's not the case. He said that's why he left Cleveland. Nobody would come there. I'm just keeping it a C note. Let's talk a little football. We got Robert Saleh. We got the Jets. Zach Wilson has looked horrible. There's been rumors all year that the defense is mad at the coach for continuing to stand behind Zach Wilson. Robert Saleh, the head coach, was recently asked if Zach Wilson couldn't keep his job last year, what made you make him the backup this year? Robert Saleh did not have no answer. The guy actually pled the fifth. Like, are you kidding me? Zach Wilson is a number 2 pick, a former number 2 pick. First of all, whoever scouted Zach Wilson and said he was good enough to be the number 2 pick, not the analysts, because that's their jobs to throw people off. But I'm talking about the guys within the Jets organization. Whoever went and seen that man play football and said, yeah, he's the number 2 pick, he's our guy, they should have been fired last year. I'm just keeping it a C note. Zach Wilson is only playing because who else do they have? I mean, who? Who else do they have? Like, we're going to talk about, I don't know who they got, but I mean, this is ridiculous. And the quarterback play this year in the NFL has been horrible, especially when you're seeing these backups come in. You take even the Rams, my team, LA. Just signed Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz, the journeyman. And here's my thing with Carson Wentz. That's fine. But if you were going to sign Carson Wentz, you should have been signed him. Matthew Stafford is in his 30s coming off of major injuries from last year, right? You drafted the kid Stetson Bennett. I don't know where he's at. They just sent him home. They won't elaborate on it. Rumors is I'm hearing that he's a drunk and he's a party kid. And I wouldn't be surprised. The kid was 25, 26 years old, still in school. But what I don't understand is how do you have someone like Brett Rippon on your team? The kid can't throw the ball 3 yards. Accurately, that is. And that's my thing. When you got guys like Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua, and these guys that can get open, and you can't throw the football, who is scouting these guys? Who is the one that's giving the okay, all right, we're going to grab him as our backup quarterback? Because I'm baffled with this. Am I happy about the Carson Wentz signing? No. I'm not happy about the Carson Wentz signing, but I'll take Carson Wentz over Brett Rippon any day. So why they didn't have somebody like him as the backup is just mind-boggling. And I want to take an intermission. I know I'm a diehard Rams fan. I've stuck up for Sean McVay. And I've thrown him up there, top 5 coaches and all that. Here's the thing. I'm losing that opinion with Sean McVay. Even the game in Week 9 against Green Bay, when you got Rippon starting, you already know what kind of quarterback you got in Brett Rippon. Why are you still running the same plays that you were running like Matthew Stafford is in the game? That's horrible coaching. Usually coaches dumb it down when you got a backup coming in unless he's just as good as the starter. And I know Sean McVay didn't feel that way. So why aren't you dumbing down the offense for these guys? The play calling is horrible. And I know this may be with a little frustration, but I'm going to say it right now. Sean McVay has coached himself out of a top 5 coaching spot for me this year. I know it's only 9 games, but he's coached himself right out of that top 5 spot. Play calling is horrible. His IQ seems to be horrible. I'm just keeping it a C note. Thursday night football, we got the Bears. We got Carolina at the Bears. The Bears are hosting Carolina. Justin Fields, not ready to go yet. Tyson Bagent will get the start. And listen, I know I've been rough on Justin Fields, pause. But there's no way, not unless you're somebody like Stevie Wonder, Ray Charles, or someone, right? There's no way you're going to tell me that the Chicago Bears offense looks better with Justin Fields than it does with Tyson Bagent. I've heard every excuse for Justin Fields. He don't got the weapons. The offensive line is horrible. This, that, and the third. This kid, Tyson Bagent, has come in what, 2-3 weeks? Made the offense look 10 times more fluid than Justin Fields. I think that the coach and them are realizing Justin Fields ain't our guy. And I've been telling you guys this all the time. Justin Fields is an okay quarterback, but he's not who y'all thought he was going to be. But on that note, shout out to C.J. Stroud, because C.J. Stroud has changed my whole opinion about Ohio State quarterbacks. He has saved Ohio State quarterbacks. The first one that can really hoop. He can throw that football. Hey, listen, man, the quarterback play is down in the NFL this year. And I know I don't watch college football, and I know I continue to harp on that and let y'all know this. But I'm sorry, I think the kid C.J. Stroud is already a top 10 quarterback. At least this year. He's got to be top 10. He's a rookie doing this. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful to a Tank Dell or Nico Collins or Schultz, the kid that came from Dallas. But these guys are nobodies, really. Could you imagine if C.J. Stroud has some real weapons? Good golly, Miss Molly. And I know I harp on tape. There's no tape on him yet. But C.J. Stroud has looked like the real deal. What's your thoughts on that? Y'all agree with me? Should you call me a Uber? Keep it a C note. Let me know. Power rankings going into week 10 of the NFL season. I'm going 5, the Kansas City Chiefs. They're 7-2. At 4, I'm going the Jacksonville Jaguars. 6-2. They're on a 5-game winning streak. At 3, Detroit Lions at 6-2. I know they had a hard weekend a couple weekends ago against Baltimore, but they're still a top 3 team in the league. At 2, I'm going to Baltimore Ravens at 7-2. Shout out Lamar Jackson. I just seen a stat where he went to like 18-1, 19-1, something like that against the NFC. Yikes, he owns the NFC. If Lamar Jackson played the NFC every week, he might be better than Patrick Mahomes. I'm just keeping it a C note. But I do got the Ravens at number 2. And, shout out to them. At 1, listen, you can hate it. You can love it. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. But you got to keep it a C note. The best team in the NFL right now is the Eagles. The Eagles. And the more they struggle, the more I'm convinced that they're a top team. We seen last year, they can blow you out and win games. This year, they're winning games where they look horrible. And not even horrible. They just don't look like last year's team. But they can grind out a win. Their defense could get you a win. Jalen Hurts still does everything with his legs. Pause. Right now, the Eagles got to be the best team in the league going into a bye. We'll see what happens after this bye with this little schedule. But I'm going to keep it a C-note right now. At the beginning of the year, them games after the bye looked a little rough. After seeing the year with the way Purdy looks, the way Mahomes in them looks, the way Josh Allen in them looks, none of these games seem too rough for the Eagles. I'm just keeping it a C-note. Vito, before you start hating, burning me out, no, San Fran is not a top 5 team no more. Definitely not in my top 5. Brock Purdy, the tape is out on him. He's back. They got a big game this weekend, too. I believe they play Jacksonville. So we'll see I wouldn't be surprised if Jacksonville loses. I don't know what's going on. Shout out to Vito again. I told Vito I may be a mush. Every time I put a team at number 1 or say they're their top team, they end up getting smoked that weekend. So I wouldn't be surprised if San Fran comes out and smokes Jacksonville. But right now, San Fran ain't a top 5 team. I'm just keeping it a C-note. I've been seeing a lot of, promotion, a lot of predictions. It's a lot of people just predicting Baltimore, Philly, Super Bowl. I'm just telling y'all as gamblers, if you're a fan of football, it's cool. You can believe whatever you want to believe. But if you're a gambler, you gamble on the sports, please don't fall for the bait. Now, I'm not 100% sure because this gives me vibes. Tampa won the Super Bowl, first home team to win the Super Bowl. Everybody said the Rams ain't going to do it 2 years in a row. It ain't never been done. It ain't going. And it happened 2 years in a row. My reason why I don't think it will be Baltimore, Philly, or Philly, Kansas City, me personally, I don't think they're going to do two brothers again. And no, I'm not talking about the Kelsey brothers, which they try to run that movie on y'all that the brother Super Bowl was Kelsey's. No, the brother Super Bowl was the two quarterbacks that were both brothers, black brothers, playing in the Super Bowl. First time ever two black quarterbacks played in the Super Bowl. They disguised it a little bit with the Kelsey stuff, but come on, we're not dumb. We shouldn't be dumb anyway. We should have caught that. So I don't think that they'll do it 2 years in a row, two brothers in the Super Bowl, but I said the same thing about us. I didn't think the Rams would win just because Tampa had won the year before at home. So maybe they go back and double down. I can't see it. I cannot see it, but it is what it is. It could happen. But my thing is, if you bet, please don't fall for the bait. I'm just keeping it a C note. Before I get out of here, Philadelphia, they just had their mayor's election. Cheryl Parker, Democrat, she becomes the 100th mayor of Philly, first female mayor of this city. And it's a lot of up and down about her. A lot of people act like they didn't want her to win. It's a lot of people that has hope that she can change this and that. I just want people to wake up. Listen, people, we've been going through the same thing for 100 years, right? Well, not 100 years, but as long as they've been voting these Democrats in. Democrats ain't doing nothing for us, so for you to think because she's a female, maybe she will be different, or because of her skin color, she's different. Listen, let's just put it like this. Republicans, Democrats, they represent red and blue just like Bloods and Crips. You could throw GDs, Latin Kings, whatever gang you want to throw in the mix. One leader might believe in being ruthless. We going bloody everything. That leader might step off. The next leader may be a more civilized leader where I can talk a little bit more. But at the end of the day, they're from the same gang. They have the same principles. They're in it together, the same agendas. Please don't be fooled to believe one Democrat is better than another. Come on now, that's a movie. Now, do I believe that the Republican candidate, David O, would he have been a better candidate? Probably not. But we don't know because we're not giving no other party or no other gang a chance. Everybody that's happy for this lady, Cheryl Parker, that's saying she's the truth, she's going to be the change we need, this, that, and the third. 6 months to a year, y'all will be asking for her job. The pattern doesn't stop. It doesn't change. It's the same pattern. Come on, man. This is all a movie. This is all one same gang. Philly, it's time we wake up as a whole. We're lost as a city. This city is done. I'm asking other cities to please pray for Philly. And please don't hit me with all this Black Power stuff because I don't care about a candidate's color. I don't care about a candidate's race, especially when that candidate is from the same party that has been doing the same stuff to us year in and year out. I don't care about none of that. I don't care. And you got to realize they're going to put the people that looks like us in position to do us the most harm. You know why? Because at the end of the day, some of us let our guards down and think that she's going to be a different. Until she has your son in jail for 25, 30 years. Till she has the jails overpopulated because everybody's being arrested for stop and frisk. Will it stop violence? Maybe. But it also is going to cut your rights out. For a cop to be able to just walk down the street and jump out on you just for anything. Racial profiling will be at an all-time high because, again, they're not going down South Philly in them Italian neighborhoods. They're not going down Chinatown or none of that doing stop and frisk. This will only be in urban communities, the black and brown communities. I'm just keeping it a C note. So, again, congratulations to Cheryl Parker. She's the first mayor in Philadelphia. She's a Democrat. But all I'm saying is pray for the city because this city is lost. I'm just keeping it a C note. I'm about to wrap this episode up, but I do appreciate everybody for tuning in. It's your first time tuning in. Salute to you. Please do me a favor. Make sure you hit the sub button, like button, and the bell so you can stay notified when we drop new content. Don't be afraid to leave a comment if you agree with something, disagree with something. You want to correct me on something, or if you just want to call me an Uber, let me know in the comments. Just make sure you keep it a C note. And make sure you share this video with someone that likes to talk sports and entertainment just like you so that we can all talk that talk together. As always, I am your boy Brown. Please tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to tell everybody. Keep it a C note. I holla at y'all.
This is what I'm feeling like. Da, 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 da. Let me tell you what I'm feeling like. Da, 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 da.